You got extorted, that's money out of your pocket. You call a hit on somebody, you got to pay the person for the hit. After you pay the person for the hit, you got to pay the person that you killed's brother. That's a lot of money that you shelling out, brother. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Octavia. Welcome to or back to my channel. If you are new, welcome to the channel. Again, my name is Octavia. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Washington, D.C. Now, today's video will be a part 2 to me speaking on Big Head Gary's brother, Brandon Terrell, aka Big Head Brandon, his murder. Now, in this video, I will be talking about what happened in the trial on his case, and I also will be talking about, most importantly, what lengths Rayful Edmond went to stay out of prison. Okay, where I left off in part 1 was leaving you guys with a question, and that question was, did Rayful pay Big Head Gary off to basically not raise hell? You know, Gary losing his brother really changed him and made him want to not only avenge the death of his brother, but it also made him more aggressive. It made him not let nobody mess with him, not let nobody play with him, whatever. The question was, did Rayful pay Big Head Gary? My answer to that is yes. It was told to me in the comments, and shout out to this person right here that said it, because in part 1 I was like, I don't know the situation between them, if, you know, it was Rayful's jealousy, or, you know, Rayful had the problem and not Brandon, or both of them had a problem with each other. I didn't know. But this person commented and said that Big Head Brandon was actually extorting Rayful Edmond. Now, that really shocked me, y'all. That shocked me because I would really expect that from a lot of different people, but not the person that was said to have brought or introduced crack cocaine to the District of Columbia. How in the fuck do you get extorted? You know, with your army of people, your entourage, all of these things. How do you get extorted? And this person that commented said that he was getting tired of getting extorted by Big Head Brandon. My question is, how many times was he coming to you? You know what I'm saying? Is you that sweet? Was you that sweet that niggas could just, like, the same nigga can keep coming up to you, getting shit off of you, and not giving you nothing for it? To me, that really spoke volumes into who Rayful really was. Like, remember, I said, you know, to call a hit on somebody, especially if it's personal, and that's personal. Brandon wasn't extorting your whole crew, he was extorting you. So calling a hit on somebody on some personal shit is soft. Getting extorted, you know, I have some sympathy for you if it was just one time and then you was like, look, nigga, like, that's it, you know what I'm saying, that's all you getting. But you got extorted multiple times, which is very soft, you know. So word on the street immediately thereafter was that Rayful called a hit, just like he actually did. So this is my question, right? You mean to tell me you get extorted for I don't even know how much worth of drugs or whatever the case was, right? You get extorted multiple times. You call a hit on the man that is extorting you. Okay, cool. But then after the execution is done and his brother wants smoke with you, you pay him not to kill you or not to kill nobody in your entourage. You spent more money on this than you made. You know what I'm saying? You didn't make nothing. You spent a lot of money. You spent a lot of money on this and had to turn around and just shell out more money. It makes no sense. You got extorted, that's money out of your pocket. And then you call a hit on somebody, you got paid the person for the hit. And then after you pay the person for the hit, you gotta pay the person that you killed's brother. That's a lot of money that you shelling out, brother. That's a lot to stay out of prison. But it doesn't end there. I want to get into Rayful cooperating before he was arrested. Now, shout out to the Washington Post for this article, but it really opened my eyes into what he was getting himself into right before he got arrested. He met detectives at a Maryland restaurant, and that's number one. You know what I'm saying? If you from DC and you finna cooperate with some feds or something, you finna go out Maryland and Virginia to meet them. You ain't even finna risk anybody in DC seeing you talking to the feds. Rayful Edmond and his entourage show up at a Maryland restaurant and they meet with a detective who is talking about the murder of Brandon Terrell. The detective says, "We want Lil Nut." Now, I told y'all, immediately after Big Head Brandon's murder, word got around that Rayful called the hit and that Lil Nut was the shooter. So it didn't take long for the feds to know that information as well. So the detective says, "We want Lil Nut," right? And Rayful says, "I'ma see what I can do. Give me 24 hours or so, and I'll give you something. I'll hand you whoever is responsible." So I'm reading, and I'm like, you gonna hand, like, first of all, if they know that Lil Nut pulled the trigger, or that the streets is saying that Lil Nut pulled the trigger, and you show up here with about 17 to 20 people, that's your whole entourage except one person, Lil Nut. 24 hours or so go by. The next day, a 16-year-old is walked into the homicide office with his mother. This juvenile says, "I am responsible for Brandon Terrell's murder." The detectives go into questioning this juvenile about his involvement, about the details of the case. After speaking with this juvenile for hours, going through certain things, the detectives at the homicide office realized that this juvenile was lying. This juvenile's story fell apart. And why do you say that it fell apart? Because he wasn't the trigger man. Rayful thought that he was so smart and that he was so much smarter than a lot of people, that he could trick the police into believing and charging this juvenile with the murder of Big Head Brandon, like they didn't do their homework, like they haven't been studying the case. The detectives on this case give Rayful a call and they say, "Nice try. We still want Lil Nut." Conversation over. About a week later, Rayful and his whole entourage of people, including Lil Nut, is arrested and charged. After further questioning this juvenile, he revealed that Rayful told him to take up this charge, and because he is a juvenile, that he'll be out in about 2 years. Rayful also told him that while he was doing this bid, his family, the juvenile's family, would be taken care of. Now, there were questions about why a juvenile would take up this charge, and be willing to get that amount of time, and it's a lie, you know. And in all honesty, I feel like when you come from a place like a hood, like a ghetto, like a real live ghetto, you know what I'm saying, and you never had much, and somebody is waving something in your face, and of course it's more damage that it'll do to you in the long run. But if somebody say your mother gonna be taken care of, your house gonna get paid off, this, that, and the fourth, especially if you're a young black man, you know, at a certain age, they feel like that they have to take care of everything. And they want to take care of their mother, they want to take care of their siblings, whatever. And it just gets to a certain point where they stop caring about themselves. It happens in a lot of communities. It is a very sad reality when it comes to especially young black men. I mean, some females take charges too, you know what I'm saying, don't get me wrong, some females do that too, but it's the same thing, you know. Rayful was 24 at the time of his arrest. They were charged with conspiracy to distribute cocaine, and all 17 associates were given this charge. In 1990, after the jury deliberated for about 18 hours and over 4 days, Lil Nut, aka Daniels, was found guilty of second-degree murder of the rival drug dealer Brandon Terrell. He was initially charged with first-degree murder, but the jury was not convinced that Brandon Terrell's death was premeditated. They believed that this shooting that occurred was an impulsive action. On top of the second-degree murder charge, which is a possible 20-plus year sentence, he was also facing a mandatory sentence of a minimum of 20 years for his conspiracy to distribute cocaine. And he also was facing a misdemeanor charge of carrying a pistol without a license. It was said that since Daniels intimidated or threatened Rayful Edmond's brother, which his name is Robert Stewart, since he intimidated him not to testify and he didn't testify in court against them, the courts went through great lengths to protect the jury. U.S. Marshals escorted the jury out, and they were not given the opportunity to talk to reporters for comment. For this killing, Lil Nut got his payment 3 weeks later. Now, I don't know about you, but if I do something huge for somebody, right? I'm gonna want my payment that day. 3 weeks after is not, you know what I'm saying? That's not no good payment, man. 3 weeks later. Anyways, for this killing, he received a $51,000 car, a Benz, you know, that he wasn't able to drive, and not because he had no license, but because he got arrested shortly after. He didn't even get a chance to really figure this car out. You didn't even have a car for a good amount of time, and then you got arrested. Well, he might have got maybe a year with the car or something like that, but that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? You took a life. But anyways, so as a result of this execution triggered turf wars and actually gave DC the reputation and the name of the drug and murder capital. I did see reports that Lil Nut was sentenced to life. I also seen that he did get shot and paralyzed, you know what I'm saying, but I don't know if that was true. I seen that in one article and I couldn't find any other thing on it, so I'm not sure if that was true or not, but that's what they said happened to Lil Nut. And I'm not sure of, you know what I'm saying, when this shot occurred. I don't know if they let him out after he was arrested and before the trial. I just don't know, you know what I'm saying? And then he got shot. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all can help verify that for me. Now, Another thing that I wanted to say to end this video off was, y'all remember the 16-year-old that I was telling y'all about that walked into the homicide office and said that he was responsible for this killing? Well, this 16-year-old got a little bit older by the time the trial was going down. He got killed while he was driving. He got killed before he could testify. And of course, the police already had his statement of, you know, it being a lie that he wasn't responsible for Brandon Terrell's murder and everything like this. And they already knew that. It wasn't much that he would have to say, or because they have it. But that kind of upset me because it was a trap. You know what I'm saying? Even if he wasn't going to testify, he already said certain things. And even if he wasn't going to testify, the streets already named y'all. Even if he wasn't going to testify, I honestly believe that he would have still been killed, you know, in that manner or another vicious manner, just because Rayful put him up to this. You can't put somebody up to it, and you can't expect a juvenile to really, first of all, remember everything that you saying, the way that you saying it, the way that you saying happened. It was honestly a trap, and this concludes the video. Now, this shows how desperate Rayful Edmond was, and a lot of people would say, well, he didn't cooperate. You know what I'm saying? He was just feeding the police something so that they can believe it. Well, that's cooperating to me. Regardless if it was a lie or not, you fed into what the cops were saying. You fed into the questions. You met them somewhere. You cooperate, and you try to do it on the slide. You know what I'm saying? You try to do it on the slide. You try to go to Maryland. And we know now. You know what I'm saying? We know now that you was trying everything. And of course, anybody would. But if you see this coming and you know it's really no way to turn it around, just be a man. Leave your thoughts below. How do you feel? You know what I'm saying? Now that you know this information. Rest in peace to Brandon Terrell. Rest in peace to Big Head Gary. And on to the next video. Be on the lookout for my next video, which will be about Rayful himself. Okay? So stay tuned for that. It's your girl, theboctavia, and I will see y'all then.